So people do always ask us, where is the best place to invest in the UK? If we had to do some holiday homes, some vacation rentals, where would we go? And I always say the answer we would give you at Pillow is different depending on what one of the local property managers you speak to. So if you had to speak to Leanne in Manchester, for example, they would probably say Media City. If you had to speak to Claire in Derbyshire, she would definitely say go for classic holiday homes in the Peak District. We know that area does massively well. So each individual property manager has different opinions. Another great area for us over in Whitby and Filey. These two areas, coastal Yorkshire, Whitby here where the cursor is, Filey, Scarborough, these areas, we know if we put something on, we will get bookings pretty much straight away. A nice example is we put one on in Whitby and within a day we had 27 bookings. So classic holiday home areas, Peak District, Yorkshire Coast. The Lake District is also good. If you speak to Emma up in Glasgow area, we know that anything around the Lake District, not the Lake District, Loch Lomond and all the lochs around here will book massively well. We're doing some investment down this peninsula here too. So, great example is anything around Loch Lomond. Few things to consider. Future-proof the businesses. If everybody gets into the market in an area, and let's go down to Birmingham, lots of people doing blocks of rent-to-rents, and 80 or 100 come on in Birmingham, then there's lots of competition. So we want to pretty much future-proof this regards demand, make sure our units have something slightly different. If 100 units come on in a big city, well, why is ours different? How are ours going to sustain that occupancy levels? The next thing, nice simple saying, go where you're treated the best. So if we take Edinburgh, for example, that is not where you're going to get treated the best. That's likely the place in the whole of the UK you'll get treated the worst. The council don't like it, the residents don't like it, they organise protests to glue key boxes over a weekend. So when we say the term go where you're treated best, it would not be Edinburgh, but there are places that love vacation rentals and love holiday homes and will always support this and want to welcome people in. So when we think about what areas we want to invest, we want to go to places that are always going to have demand, the classic holiday home places if we're going for properties as opposed to city centre apartments. Again, there will always be high demand in Edinburgh, so that criteria is fulfilled. There'll always going to be high demand in Edinburgh city centre. It's Scotland's capital city. We know we'll get high occupancy levels, but we're not going to get treated the best there. We're going to get regulated. It's got lots of legislation around it, so we want to pick areas where there's going to be lots of future demand, and we can anticipate that in advance. And secondly, where there isn't going to be future regulation coming into place. So Lake District, Peak District, even Devon and Cornwall can be funny because they love tourists, they love the money and the income, but yet they want to regulate that in some way to stop an abundance of tourists coming in. So lots of different answers, but anything that are classic holiday home areas, Whitby, Filey, even along this coast as well, definitely the Lake District. Big properties as well, when we think of new units coming on, the majority will be 1 and 2 beds, then the next amount will be 3 beds, but if you can get anything that sleeps 10 people plus with a hot tub, you're always going to get demand. So the larger the property, the more barriers to entry there are, meaning the less competition you'll have. Obviously, there's problems around group accommodation, but anything that sleeps 10, 12, 16 plus people will always be booked, and you'll get it booked well in advance. You just need to make sure you're ready operationally for groups, parties, damage, that type of thing. But again, we would work around all that. So in summary, go to classic holiday home areas where there's been demand for decades. There will always be demand for the staycations. People are going to want to go there. Things along the coast are amazing. And things with something that other properties don't have, hot tub, barbecue area, that type of thing, it commands a premium. So anything you invest into the property, you will get back. in places that aren't going to get involved, local authorities that support tourism, in areas and communities that support tourism, and large group properties is a nice niche that I like to talk about, because there's barriers to entry to that, and not everybody's going to go and get a property that sleeps 16 people, but pretty much anybody can go to a source and get a 1 or a 2 bed.